Hello there. We have a fun video today. It's so fun. We're having wine. So I encourage you to pour yourself a glass of wine and sit back and enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show. That's
the show
that's
we
kind
put
of what
on.
we've got a show for you today.
We made a show.
We made a show. You know my friend Amanda, and we go ahead and you start. You explain how we started this. We had a heat wave. We had a nasty heat wave. It was 106 degrees every day.
And my air conditioning went out. So my husband and I checked into a hotel, which is a great hotel, Sportsman's Lodge. Thank you. Hashtag Sportsman's Lodge. And it's a great, they've redone it. It's a Hollywood landmark, and they've redone it. It used to have lakes, like a Sportsman's Lodge, and people like Betty Davis and John Wayne would take their children there to learn how to fish, and then they'd cook up their trout in the restaurant. But now it has a really cool mid-century vibe, very 60s, very fun. Had my wedding reception there. Love it. Love the hotel.
So she called me and said, I'm at this hotel and it's pretty awesome. You want to shoot? And I went, yeah. So we started brainstorming, and we decided that usually, as an actor, we always need pictures. It's always like, oh, I need pictures, because we always have to be updating our headshots. And you are a photographer who has shot headshots. I have had to have headshots done many times, and I hate headshots.
I hate headshots too.
They're so boring.
I can say that now because I'm not doing them anymore.
Not doing them anymore.
I hate headshots. Don't hire me.
Yeah.
God, that felt good.
Didn't that feel good? That was like freeing. So we decided that we were just going to play. And we had no preconceived ideas. We just, what did we want to do? We're not doing this for any reason other than personal satisfaction.
No time constraints?
No time constraints. We had all day. We weren't answering to anyone. We didn't have to create a certain thing. And we decided that we wanted to pay homage to a lot of famous images of famous actresses throughout the years. There are a lot of photos you've seen that are iconic of Marilyn Monroe, of Anne Bancroft, of Joan Crawford, Betty Davis. Madonna. We wanted to capture all of those and sort of pay homage to them. And we decided that we wanted to have a look that was sort of between 1958 and 1962, a variety of looks. And so I set to work. I didn't even tell you about all the research I did. Hold here, drink wine. I'm going to be right back. Don't even feel like you need to talk because I'm going to cut all this out.
Please.
Okay, so you can vamp. You can talk about this because I used this book.
Oh, did you?
I used your book when I was trying to figure out my look and how it would advance. I was doing a lot of reading about the 1950s and the 1960s and what the differences were and how to adjust my makeup.
This is an amazing book. It's called Vintage Hairstyles. I bought it because I love pinup. I'm not fantastic at it, but I love it. And I got this book by Emma Sund and Sarah Wing on Amazon, and I think I paid somewhere between $7 and $10 for it. But it's really great if you're looking for something pinup, because it goes from I think it goes from the beginning of the 1900s all the way through the 1970s, I think. Oops. It's a very good book. This is what it looks like. It's inexpensive. It's helpful.
So I used that to really inspire, it's like, oh, here's the difference between the 1950s and the 1960s and the eyeshadow and the makeup. So I knew I wasn't going to be able to do a whole complete transformation, but I was able to do tweaks. Why didn't I do a tutorial? Well, I didn't do a tutorial because it's the same makeup that I did when we went to Pinup Prom. So if you want to know how I did my makeup, that was the same. And then I just added on to it as we were shooting, and we were busy shooting and I wasn't shooting tutorials. But I used a number of reference books. This is Bad Girls, Film Fatale, Sirens and Malls.
I'm a mall.
I know you are a mall.
I'm totally a mall.
but it had all of these old movie stills.
And of course you have this book.
Of course I have this book. So I used a lot of these photos to inspire my wardrobe as I went through my own wardrobe and pulled things that were actually vintage and things that just looked vintage. Like my disco ball shoes. I knew I could use my disco ball shoes because I saw shoes in the 50s that looked like that.
Those shoes are timeless.
They are. So,
and they sparkle.
They do sparkle. So that is some of the research that I did. I also looked at, you're going to want this book. You're going to want
Oh my God, can I borrow that book?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
This was a gift from a friend for my birthday a number of years ago, and it's all about the history of striptease. And it just has all of these amazing striptease artists throughout the year.
Oh my God.
You're going to love this book.
Sorry.
This really, really helped. So all the couple of days before we shot, after we first started talking about it, I was looking at this book.
She has a naked bum on the back of that book. I just want to say.
Heavens.
Tush.
Nudity.
Tushy.
Shocking. Because it's...
If I had that bum now, I would walk around every day like that. I'd be like, hi.
Yeah, if I had that bum now, I'd walk around every day
I just need some broccoli.
Yeah, just like this. I don't want... And then this is a wonderful book that I have had for a number of years that shows all of these beautiful contemporary women recreating old styles.
Oh,
Britney Spears. Britney Spears. Look at how beautiful.
Oops, she did it again.
But just these wonderful photos. Heather Locklear. I used a lot of these photos and I sent them to you when I was coming up with different ideas and different hairdos. You know, I didn't want to, this goes throughout the decade, so I was really able to just look at the 50s and 60s to get...
God, I love her.
I know, these wonderful photos of Susan Sarandon. Just gorgeous.
Look at that black and white.
So these were our inspiration. And then we got to shooting.
We did get to shooting at 8 o'clock in the morning.
8 o'clock in the morning. We said 7. We actually said 6:30. But as it turns out, at 6:30 in the morning, you don't always move real well. And sometimes you have husbands who are still asleep in the room and don't necessarily want to have other women come traipsing through, no matter how much they like them. It's just a little weird.
They don't suffer as much for my art.
No. The first thing we did was went out to the pool because the pool at 8 in the morning is pretty vacant and we needed an empty space, and also the sun is really low in the sky at that point.
I've stayed obviously at this hotel before, but I had never noticed the lifeguard chair. I had never noticed it before, and I noticed it the first day I was at the hotel, and I already knew we were going to shoot. So I made a mental note that I couldn't let that chance go if I got a moment without an actual lifeguard sitting on it. So I totally made you go up there. I got in the pool with my camera.
First thing in the morning. It's 8 in the morning, and it is not, we were past the 106 degree heat wave. It was still 80 degrees. It was still plenty toasty.
I just have to say it wasn't 106. It was 112. So it was about 130 in my condo, which is why we were at the hotel.
Yeah, I did take a picture of it at 116.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I'm not a baby.
Yeah, it was very unpleasant.
Yes. So I wanted to get
right into the pool.
I wanted to get you in the lifeguard chair because it's so vintage. And did I do some of these in black and white, or did I not?
I don't think you've done these in black and white
I have
yet,
some
but
in black and white. I didn't send them to you.
So yeah, this was really fun. And you know, when you first start shooting, it's always a little.
You have to warm up.
Back when, oh, you did do black and white. Back when we did film all the time, we would always joke that you may as well just throw away the first roll of film. Nobody does. Nobody ever did that, but you kind of.
First roll is like the first pancake. It takes a while to get going. I think I've said that before. But.
Yeah. one of the things that was really great about this photo shoot is the freedom that we gave ourselves. And that's sort of the message that I kind of want to convey to everybody in this video, is to allow yourself freedom and don't be constrained by things that are even in your own mind. Because every time we've done headshots, I feel like, oh, it has to be the headshot. And she feels like, oh, it has to be framed this certain way.
I even did shoot some basic headshots by accident because it's so in my nature to do so. So I had to let that go a little when I was editing, because that's more, I have them if you want them, but we don't need them.
I may want them at some point.
Yeah.
So it was very freeing in that I could just put sunglasses on, and you have a whole different attitude when you're wearing sunglasses.
Can we mention where the sunglasses are from?
Yes, we can.
They're these amazing sunglasses. They're black. I don't know where they're. They're black. They're big rimmed. They're from the 99-cent store. I was so worried because when you shoot at a hotel, you normally have to have their permission. You have to pay a rate. You have to get a permit. I didn't have a tripod. I didn't have a bounce, but I was very worried they were going to stop me. So I was rushing you through these photos like we were waiting for a Big Mac.
Yeah.
Then I relaxed. But for this particular, the pool stuff, I was rushing you.
And I love how you desaturated the color in post. And you played with the colors in post and really gave them a vintage look.
Well, we had done,
that one.
I brought the colors up on these because normally I'm shooting to a client's specifications. There were no specifications. So the freedom that we felt when we shot actually carried through to my editing process, which I'd like to say was colors only. I did nothing to alter. I didn't put a filter on you. I didn't fix wrinkles. I didn't do any of that.
In fact, when we get to the end of the day, you can see I gladly allowed all of my wrinkles to show. Would you like to take a moment?
1 second.
So this group of photos I love because they look like an ad. Now, as an actress, I'm going to have a ton of uses for these. I can use this on my website. I could make a business card out of it. I can, anytime a casting agent, in fact, I got cast on a job while we were shooting because they said, we need you to send a body shot. And I said, here. I handed her my phone. She took a picture. I sent it off.
That's right.
Got the job. So there's that. But yeah, it's nice because I get to show them pictures that show body, but it's not some cheesy bikini shot.
Yeah.
It's got some class. It looks like an ad for a resort. Yeah.
I love this one because there's more water in it.
Yes.
And I did take down the light on the water to make it a little darker because I wanted the emphasis on you and not the brightness of the water. It's an Olympic-sized pool from the 1940s. It's amazing.
This one I love because of the positioning of the legs.
Yeah.
The legs and the arms.
That's a great pose. That's a great pose for women. All women, but especially women over a certain age, which I am older than.
By bringing your legs in this way, it creates this wonderful curve in your hips and your waist, even while you're just sitting there with sunglasses.
I had to do a lot of work on the light because it was very, very faded. But to me, it was worth it because you have the sunlight coming in. You have nobody walking behind you. You can't see the giant dolly that was behind you that I didn't know was there.
There's always things behind you in pictures that you don't notice until later. So there's our photography tip. Look deep.
Look deep and clean your house before you take a selfie.
I love this. As somebody who has acted and modeled and been in front of the camera since I was in my early 20s, even though I look great now, I don't look like I did in my 20s. So when I look at photographs, I'm always judging them, comparing them to how I looked in my 20s. And I know every one of you is doing that. Everybody is looking at pictures and all you see are your flaws.
Well, of course.
You know, all the places that have changed and shifted on your body. And this shows you. I mean, I don't look 20, but I feel really, really happy with that.
It's a very pretty picture. I like that picture a lot.
So thank you for giving that to me.
You're welcome. That's why I'm a photographer, you know, because
after we did the bathing suit stuff, then I started wearing vintage clothes. Now, I have inherited quite a number of vintage garments, and it's interesting that I have some vintage clothing that I have had in a bin for 15 years that I have never worn. So I went through these bins and I started pulling stuff out, and in the middle of our heat wave, while you were enjoying air conditioning in 106-degree weather, I was steaming garments. So I spent an entire day just steaming out all of these outfits. And I'm actually going to be selling a number of them because I realized, well, now that I've shot in them, they've kind of served their purpose. I have 3 ivory dresses, and ivory isn't a good color on me with my hair color anymore. Fine to shoot in, but I'm not going to ever wear these in life, and I think I should just pass them along to somebody who will appreciate them. So we first shot at this gray wall,
which is round.
Yeah, it's got a big
semicircle
curve to it,
which gives you this kind of light. And it's not something you notice until you're looking at a photograph. You see how it's darker here? It's because of the curve and the morning light.
Interesting. Oh, and in black and white, it's stunning.
I love it.
And I had a pair of vintage gloves in my bin, and I'm not really a glove person, but I thought they would bring that sort of vintage vibe.
And in black and white, you can't tell that your glove, really, you can't tell that the gloves are white and the dress is ivory. If you want to get critical about it, you can.
Yeah.
But not really. That's all right. I like this.
Okay, we're going to stop for a moment. I'm going to go blow my nose and sniffle for a little bit. Why don't you talk about this amazing photograph?
Okay. This is what's great about not having boundaries and not having a time constraint or a specific thing that you're shooting commercially, is that this was the morning light hitting cactus, and a lot of beautiful succulent plants, when the light hits it in the right way, actually transfers through the plant. And while the light is beautiful on the plant, it's incredibly difficult, because if you put a model in there, they're backlit. And I just got incredibly lucky on this shot, and I think it might be my favorite shot of all, just because it's artistic and I don't get a chance to do that very often.
Yeah, it's really a stunning photograph.
And I want to add here, for anyone that likes to take pictures, you notice how you have one shoulder up and one shoulder down, really makes a difference. Did you even notice you did that? Probably.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No, I just move around and do all my usual weird,
well, you did it right
freaky
there.
stuff. Yeah, it's so much better in black and white.
Yeah.
I mean, it's lovely in color.
It's okay.
But it really transforms in black and white. That's beautiful.
That's great. That's great. I like that.
I like that. I like the pose. I like the attitude.
It looks like something out of a Palm Springs magazine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Looks like an impatient bitch.
Well.
But this is good for my casting. That's what I play.
Yes.
Then we went upstairs to the room. Now, I picked up, Amanda was with me when I went shopping at you found this dress for me. Dress. It's only this big. It's so short. It had been modified for camera, for a production, and is hyper short.
It was Kristen Chenoweth size.
Yeah, it's
like this, you know,
way too short to ever wear in public. In fact, when I put it on, you looked at me and you went, we shouldn't leave the room in this. And I said, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't leave the room
with all due respect.
Yeah. I mean, I shot in this one time publicly, but I had on 2 pairs of tights.
I love these shots. These shots are some of my favorite. It's the green with the dress. It's the green. It's the way you're sitting. It's, like I said, it's a little bit Sharon Stoney. You know, there's just something about it. I think you're in Miami.
Yes.
Automatically.
Yeah. We really wanted to have that sort of we wanted to capture that feeling of that Rat Pack, that Palm Springs, that, that lifestyle back in the 1960s. So I really feel that we did that on these.
I love these.
They look Miami, they look Palm Springs, and very Sharon Stone. By the way, if there are any people in the film business watching this, you can hire me for half the price of Sharon Stone.
And
half the price.
And a quarter of the attitude.
Exactly. It's
Just
like
saying.
a bargain. Just saying.
So really, these photos are like a coupon. They're like a casting director coupon.
That's what it is.
It's a Groupon. Okay.
These. So we broke for lunch right after we did the green photos. We broke for lunch. It was like 10:30, 11 in the morning, but I was feeling depleted. I didn't have dinner the night before because I was prepping and
Sustenance.
yeah. It was like, can we just stop and get food? And we decided at that point that we had done enough out of doors. The sun was getting pretty high in the sky at that point. So really, once the sun gets up too high, all the pictures are just squinting, and my eyes, I cry like a baby.
If you're shooting photos, if you're planning on doing a photo shoot with a friend, you're planning on doing something, always remember noon is the worst time to shoot, because unless you're exactly straight dead on, you're going to have an inconvenient, as I call them, shadow, one way or the other. You even stand in shade and you're going to get shadow that you didn't even know was there.
Yeah.
So you're better to wait, shoot until noon, and then if you're not shooting indoors, wait until 2:30, 3 o'clock, depending on what season it is, to shoot again.
Yeah, it's summertime and that sun is pretty high, so I find for me the best times to shoot out of doors are early in the morning and just before sunset.
Yeah. Unless you have a bounce and an assistant and a
Yeah.
flash and all that.
Yeah, or scrims. But once we decided to move it inside, it started really getting interesting.
It did. And I just like to state for the record at this point, we were not, I know every time they see me coming to visit you on your YouTube channel, there's wine, or a cocktail, there was no alcohol.
No.
We didn't have a drink.
We were shooting, we were working.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it's just for fun and it's just as girls and we're just playing and goofing off, we still take it seriously.
I'm not saying we might not have celebrated when we were done.
When we were done.
But we were not drinking. I just like to state that.
Yeah. Because as you see the photos, you're going to say, those women were not drinking. Sober.
And we were.
No, they were all art directed. Everything on this was, we art directed everything.
Yes.
So these were inspired by, and they don't even remotely look like that picture, but we both talked about an image of Marilyn Monroe standing in front of the mirror, and she's doing like perfume, and it's often used as a Chanel ad.
Yes.
So these, we were sort of having a nod towards that, even though they look nothing like that.
And we don't claim they do.
No. But that was sort of...
They're our take.
Yeah. Our interpretation. And I am so pleased with these.
I love this one. There's a couple. See, I put grain on this one.
Yes.
There's a couple that I just really adore. And this is one of them.
These are some of Howard's favorites.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because he likes this part right here. By the way, this is something that we haven't discussed before, but I have a man in my life now. So.
And it's not me.
It's not her.
I love this one, not to take away from the man in your life, but
that's okay. That's all he needs mentioned.
I love this one because the way you're looking at yourself, and I said this to you, I showed you the shot as we were shooting. It's like this is my favorite, because it's like you're meeting yourself for the first time. Like, here I am, my dowdy self, just putting on some lipstick, and oh, hello, who are you? Oh, yeah. You're me. Why, hi. You know, it's that kind of thing. I really like this photo. This is my favorite one.
On a hair and makeup note, when we switched from the hair, my first inspiration was sort of Marilyn Monroe's hair in the Misfits. And then we were thinking about doing extensions and doing sort of a Brigitte Bardot. And then I also wanted to do a Tippi Hedren sort of a look. We sort of combined those two together and did a a loose, messy French twist. And at that time, I added a little more eyeshadow, a little more depth in the corners, and a little white on the lid and up on the brow bone. And then I swapped out the lipstick from a bright red to more of a neutral tone because I wanted the eyes to be more dominant, and I wanted to switch to more of a 60s vibe. And having read my little book, eyes were more in play in the 60s than in the 50s. So love the little pop of orange. It's so different in color.
That's the exact same picture, but in color.
It's
and I wanted
amazing.
to give you both options.
I love both options.
Because the rooms in this hotel are gray and orange, which I was so inspired by, which I didn't realize the first time I stayed there for my wedding reception in November, that I have now painted my bathroom these exact same colors.
Oh my God, you did.
And if you notice,
yes,
my water faucet, the faucet in my bathroom matches the faucet exactly. And I didn't even realize it till I walked back into the hotel and I went, oh,
look at what I did.
See? I didn't even know. But that pop of color is nice.
It really is. I pulled the corset over the petticoat to give that line at the waist.
Right.
But I think traditionally in the 60s, women would have worn the petticoat over the corset. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Okay, if somebody is watching this and you were wearing petticoats and corsets in the 60s,
please tell us.
Let us know, because if we do this again, we might shoot for accuracy. I was not as pleased with the garter checking shots as I thought I would be.
I'm sorry if I let you down on that.
You did not let me down. The others were more interesting. These were pedestrian.
They look a little wedding-y. Even though you're in black.
They look a little wedding-y. You're absolutely right. And they're fine, but they're not as interesting to me. But, that's part of a shoot. Not every picture. There's a whole section. In fact, we had the camera off and we were discussing. I said, hey, where's all the stuff of me in the pink romper? And she's like, nope, those were terrible. And it had nothing to do with you. It was the location. There was trash around and it looked terrible. So you have to accept that there's going to be a certain amount of something that you just go, yeah, that didn't work.
And if you're shooting for a vintage time period, if you're trying to recreate that, keep in mind when you're shooting if there's a TV or there's a poster on the wall. If you are shooting and there's a great poster for 2 Days in the Valley, it's not going to match. So keep that in mind when you're shooting, because that was the problem with the romper, was that our location looked too 90s.
So this was a fun grouping we did. Same wardrobe, same hair, same wardrobe. I wanted to recreate that sort of iconic image. I think Marilyn Monroe, I think she's in a white corset.
She's in a light coat. She's in a light color.
And she looks very sad, very lonely, very like lost little girl. Yes. In that photo. And I sort of wanted to create that same feeling in these photos.
But I think you look more adorable in these pictures. I was paused because I was thinking of a better word, but it's more come hither than it is, and it works. Well, I think it works for you.
Admittedly, when Marilyn Monroe took that picture, she would have been 27, 28.
Yeah.
Very, very young. And I'm 51. So, of course I'm not going to be able to do, it looks exactly like that. And I don't want to do that.
Just reminiscent.
It's my own vision of it.
I barely adjusted the lighting on that, by the way.
I like the bare feet, the stockings with no shoes. I like the vulnerability of it. I like the bed showing in the corner.
That's one of my favorite things about it. And the curtain with the stripes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
It's just so barely there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I took it, so I'm allowed to.
We're allowed to toot our horn. Gosh, really, this video is really all us just tooting our own horn.
Beep, beep.
And
these were a last minute afterthought. I was shooting you sitting in that chair by the window, and I turned around and I said, I have to move my husband's piece of luggage off the luggage rack in the room. And I went, let's go out in the hall. And I grabbed that luggage rack and we went out. And these are some of my absolute favorites. And the hallway in this hotel is avocado green, not well lit.
Yeah.
So I had to do a little work with the light, but I didn't shoot with a flash. Did I shoot with a flash?
Not at this point, not in the hallway.
This is all originally shot in natural light and much more green. And I brought up the yellows. You can see the green far more there.
But then you put it in black and white.
I know.
And that made it amazing. I think that once you put it in black and white, we got to a whole other level. And I was feeling very much, my feet they touched the ground, but not quite. And I was kind of feeling that lost little girl. You know, I wanted to capture that sort of, you know, little girl lost. So I sort of I scooched myself further back and brought my legs further up so that they were swinging, so that they didn't touch the ground, so that I was little.
You were little. Well, you are little.
Well, yeah, I am little. But so absolutely delighted with these.
Love that. That's my favorite one.
Yes. Yeah, I love how the ankles are bent in and the arm is sort of dropped. I just love.
Did I just give you that one with grain only?
No. You gave me a few versions of this one.
All right.
Yeah. Because
I did a lot of grain because we're going for an older vintage-y look. And a lot of the pictures in the hallway that you can see actually in the background of this hotel are very grainy black and white photos. So I think that was on my brain somewhere.
But this is, you know, these are great ideas for, you know, if you're getting married, if your daughter is getting married, your son, if you've got, these are ideas to, you know, give you more interesting photos. Play with them. Look at your location. There might be interesting stuff.
If you're going to a hotel for your husband's conference, or you're going to a hotel for your conference, or you're going to a hotel for someone's wedding, or because your air conditioning is out, throw a couple of outfits in the bag because you never know what you'll get a chance to shoot.
Even if it's just a picture, you know, even if it's just a couple pictures that you put up on Instagram, it's still kind of fun.
Always take advantage of your locations is what I say.
And I am trying to, this particular image, I know somebody who wants to buy it, and I know a couple of people who already have said that they want to purchase this. So
sold.
At some point, I'm encouraging Amanda to find a way to sell her art. And if and when we figure that out, we will let you know. In the meantime, I guess we're making this video so that we can have a place to show it off because we don't have another place to show off these pictures. We're like, oh, we shot all this amazing stuff. Let's show it. So then we did Mrs. Robinson.
I don't know how much I sing.
Same outfit, but we wanted to change the attitude, to change the vibe. So it's the same, everything about it is the same. We added a martini glass, we added an olive, we added a mink stole.
And we got rid of the petticoat.
Oh yeah, we got rid of the petticoat. That too. So
important.
I'm just in a garter belt. Can't decide. Interesting story about this. Almost every movie I have ever done, they always give my character a martini.
Oh, that's right.
If you have watched Magic Funhouse, you have seen that I am drinking a martini. And what that means when you're making a movie is that you get a martini glass filled with chilled water and an olive.
Oh, I hate olives so much.
So I have consumed more olive water than you have any idea. And I love olives, but olive water is not pleasant.
I'm sorry.
Well, and then
I should have just given you vodka.
These were your husband's olives, and he has them filled with blue cheese.
Ugh, God.
Now, I hate cheese more than anything on the planet.
And the cheese floats in the brine.
The cheese floats in the water. The water smelled like cheese. The olive smelled like cheese. Every time she's like, bring it up to your mouth like you're biting it. And I'm like, it smells like cheese. I'm going to die.
But look how great it looks.
But they look great.
But you look, in this picture particularly, you're like, you know what? I hate you and I hate your olive. This one's a little better.
But I do think a little of that shows in my face.
I like that.
I love that one because it's so retro in the background. There's so much olive green. And I'm like, don't make me put this in my mouth, bitch. Ain't gonna happen.
This is one of my favorites too. I love this picture.
Another wardrobe change, but I have this, and I've had it since the 90s. Don't ask me why I have this, but you know, you collect things and they're just weird enough. You keep them in a yeah, we have had happen sometimes. This series, I had the same hair and makeup, but I changed into this vintage over-dyed corset thing. It's like a corset girdle from the 50s.
It's a girdle.
And I bought it in the 90s, and it was over-dyed to neon pink. So we knew we were going to, like, well, okay, we're going to, definitely these are going to be black and white. And in these shots, we decided we wanted to pay homage to Madonna in her Truth or Dare period of time.
We had bed, we had sheets, we had your light colored hair, we had a girdle, and we had to go in black and white. Who else are you going to pay homage to?
Exactly. But we ended up leaving a few of them in color because that actually works. That little, with my pose, you only saw, if I were standing up and you saw the whole thing, no, my God, it was atrocious. But just that little bit of pink with that little bit of orange on the wall made for this fun, crazy color combination. And I am so tickled with this series. I thought they were really, really fun. And
I love that one too.
I felt so pretty.
Well, you looked pretty. Well, you always look pretty, but you got it. In these, you got it.
It was a really nice feeling. And, you know, I'm realistic that I don't have a lot of years left of being able to do photographs like this. So I am especially appreciative of the fact that I have them now.
Well, I think they look great, and I think you have plenty of time to do more.
Well, we got a couple years. We added a prop.
Not my favorite.
I felt like I wanted a prop in my hands and didn't need the prop. We were better off without the prop, but
I gave you I left them for you.
Yeah. Then we did a bunch of cigarette smoking shots. And we talked a long time about this because...
One, we were in a room where you can't smoke. Okay, so we have that. Two, you don't smoke.
Right.
So to have you blowing smoke out of your mouth could be offensive to people because now smoking, I admittedly smoke. So I am very aware of my smoking and usually will go far, far, far away from people. So you don't want to give people the impression that you're smoking.
Encouraging it or endorsing it. But we were paying homage to 1962. And at that period of time, cigarettes were prevalent. I mean, doctors smoked in hospitals at that time period. Yes. And that was the look that we were trying to create.
My father was an agent in Hollywood, and I have an ashtray. It's not the ashtray we use. It's another ashtray, and it's very shallow, and it has a big round bump in the middle, so you could put things out on it.
I remember seeing those.
I have that ashtray on my coffee table because it was the ashtray that sat in my father's office because no one came into my father's office for a meeting without smoking. And so it's my little piece of my own Mad Men history that I keep in the house. But we did, and can I point it out in this picture?
Yes.
If you look behind Monique's foot, you will see that there is a vape pen there because I did tell her to bring one of those cigarette vape things.
I stopped at the store and I bought e-cigarettes. I got one with a lighter tip and I got one with a darker tip because I didn't know which would shoot better in case we needed to actually show, in case...
We probably could have done it with those now that I look at the pictures.
Yeah, but we didn't know.
That is her vape pen behind the foot, and that is one of my unlit cigarettes that she's holding.
Yeah, I literally had the vape in one hand and the unlit cigarette in the other, and I would take a mouthful of smoke, and then I'd set the e-cig down, and then exhale slowly.
But we wound up using very little of the ones with smoke because you were so uncomfortable with the smoke that you looked like you were going to vomit in 90%. I got one very artistic one with smoke, but other than that, you literally looked like you were going to vomit, and I couldn't do that to you.
They were. It's like, you look at that, there's like, I look like...
That's the one I had, right?
Yeah.
That I sent you.
No, the good one. That's the good one.
That's the good one.
That's the one I like. I can see that blown up as a poster.
I love that picture.
Yeah, it's a great photograph. And I love the fact that the smoke actually obscures half my face. So you don't really see as much of my facial expression, and that sort of allows the viewer to fill in whatever they want to see there. And of course, if you look really close, you can see that the cigarette is unlit. And in that particular photo, you can see the vape pen is right there behind my foot.
Yep. Oh.
Yep. We won't be showing that picture. We
did
a few. Actually, I don't have any use for that picture. We did a few where I wanted to be naked in the bed, in the sheets, and just sort of like show flanks, and it didn't work. I didn't really like them. I wasn't feeling it. You weren't feeling it. I was naked
we
for
didn't
all
stay long.
Yeah, I was naked for maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah,
and
we did it.
And we were like, yeah.
But I wanted to send them to you so you could see them. So
yeah.
You knew.
And we got a booby shot in there that won't make it into the video, and these were not great. And I started bumping up the makeup at that point because we were working towards a destruction.
Yes.
I
like this one.
I had a pimple right here that was mostly gone, but it still had a little height on it, and so I threw a little eyeliner on it to ooze it up. This is fun.
I didn't notice that.
You didn't notice the butt crack there.
I was so busy looking at your face that I didn't notice your butt.
There's butt crack right there.
I don't know how many times you've heard that in your life, but I was so busy looking at your face, I didn't pay any attention to your ass. I didn't. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Coming from Chesty Jones over here.
I know, right?
I like that.
I like that.
It's okay.
The light was a little hard on the shoulder.
Yeah.
It was like, what's that white blotch?
I didn't notice that.
Was
oh
light.
My God, I didn't notice that. See, that's why I can't look at these too long.
But I think these have a wonderful energy, even though we weren't there long. I liked when my head was hanging off the bed there. I like that one.
I hate this.
I hate that. Yeah.
I can remove that.
That can be photoshopped out.
Yes.
I mean, we can get rid of that and just make that a solid green wall or a solid orange wall. And I think that'll be a lovely photo then.
Yeah, I just wanted you to see everything, and if we were going to talk about them in a video, keep them exactly the way
we shot them. But I think this is a nice photo, and I do think it. We don't see nipplage, do we?
I just looked.
I was just like, no, there's no nipplage there. But yeah, we could get rid of that cord and cable and those boxes.
Yeah.
And that would be.
I don't know why they didn't paint those. Love it. I love it. I know you probably don't like it.
I don't like it.
I love it.
I don't. It felt very artificial to me.
Your eyes look great. I love it.
Good. You know, and that's the thing. This is something I've learned as an actor. When I have my makeup done by a makeup artist, sometimes I don't like it because I see myself a certain way and they see me a different way because they've never met me before. You are looking at the photo with different eyes. So you see it in a different way.
I'm looking right at your eyes. That's all I see in this photo is how blue your eyes are because of the white of the sheet. That's all I see. That's why I like it. I was tempted to play with it more. I'm not a big Photoshopper, but I was tempted to make everything in the photo black and white except for your eyes, but I hate that because people do that in filters now and it looks cheesy because they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So.
I like that. I look like I woke up and I have no idea where the heck I am.
Well, that was a story we were telling.
Yeah. We at this point in the day, we were no longer shooting for beauty. We didn't care about beauty. We just wanted to tell a story, and we wanted it to be this sort of 1962 Rat Pack, Palm Springs, partying all night. waking up in a room and you don't know whose room you're in or how you got there or where your clothes are or how you're getting home.
But someday you're going to see the pictures to explain it.
And then we had our final shots. Our last shots of the day. We said, how did you got...
There is an end for the people watching.
I know, it's like, this isn't going on forever. Eventually, we're wrapping this up. I've
always wanted to do these pictures.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do these pictures too. With the drunken after party. When the party is over and you're passed out and it's like the aftermath. So you brought a gallon Ziploc baggie full of cigarette butts, cigar butts, and ashes. It was the most disgusting thing.
Even for me, a smoker, it was really disgusting. But I had asked neighbors to contribute because I knew we were going to do this. And my husband smokes cigars and often doesn't finish them. So I may have gone into his cigar tubes, I love you, and borrowed some cigars.
They went to a good cause. So we art directed this. You set up all of the tabletop. I added more makeup. So while she was setting up the tabletop with all of these liquor bottles, we saved up every empty bottle of alcohol that we could find and put on that table. I put lipstick. I put on red lipstick. I put it on the edge of the Martini glass. I think I put it on the edge of another glass. And then I put my head down on my hand with my lips square on my hand like I just passed out from drinking too much. And then just acted. Then just woke up in a stupor and didn't know where I was.
My husband's olives, again, make an appearance.
Yes.
I love these. And, okay, I don't want to offend anybody by saying this, so you can decide whether you want to keep it in or cut it out. Some of my favorite photos, when I go through and look at portrait photos, there are a series of photos that Mario Testino did later on with Princess Diana, where she's very, very, very heavily lit like this, with the natural light coming behind her, and she's in like a silver dress, and they were in Vanity Fair. So that's what inspired me here. I'm not saying Princess Diana partied like a rock star.
No, she never did, or that we saw.
But I'm saying that was my
lighting inspiration.
My inspiration here, because I knew with the light coming in what I had, and there was a lot of backlit stuff, but there was enough, and I sent you a lot of this, but because they're the most dramatic, but that was my inspiration there. And this is very easily done with contrast. Play with your contrast button because it'll do so much for you. I love this.
And these were fun because I laid down and when you were shooting, I just looked up and like, huh?
Yeah, I just said, look at me.
Yeah, I was like, and I tried to look at you, but not let my eyes find focus so that so the eyes look very bleary and unfocused. And I like it in black and white. I like it in color. I don't even have a favorite from this set.
I know it's hard.
I like all of them. Picked up the glass.
I really want to post one of these to Instagram, but I don't want to do it until this video comes out because it's...
I flipped off the camera because it's like when you're in that...
That might be my favorite.
When you're in that and you're in the attitude and it's like...
And you've got the lipstick on your hand.
Yeah.
This is what...
It's like, it tells a story. I love a photo that when you look at it, you're like, what the hell happened there?
Yeah.
What were they doing? I want to know what that party was about. Oh yeah, and then we were like, I'm in the champagne bucket.
We went full. Well, you like to play with a prop.
Yes,
so.
I love a prop. Give me a prop. I'm always happy with a prop in my hand. That one may be a bit far.
I know, but it was. I had to send it to you. Technically, you're my client.
Technically. And then I picked up the cigar.
I like that.
I like the ones with the cigar.
Yeah.
The dress, I've had this dress for a long time, and the dress is torn. The lace has started to disintegrate on it. And it's really too far gone for me to save. The lace has started to disintegrate in part of the body of the dress.
It ripped while you were wearing it.
It ripped while I was wearing it. But I like that for the photo because it gives this texture. And why is this woman's dress ripped? You don't know. And I think that's so interesting.
I love that. I like them all. I keep saying I love that.
I know. It's hard to find a favorite. But I truly think my favorites are... We finished shooting. Our last shots that we planned were the after party. We're like, okay, we got to do the after party. That's the last shot, and then we're done. It's the Martini shot.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. And we did it, and we were done. And then I said, wait, we need to show the party.
Yeah.
We need to show a little bit of the extreme fucked upness. And so I stood up and played drunk for a minute and a half.
Yeah.
We didn't spend much time on it.
My camera shoots very fast.
Very fast. And we just had...
You can almost do these like a flip book.
Yeah.
Because it tells the story as it goes, which I love.
And the thing I truly love about these photos, and I never thought I would say this, and you were surprised when I said this when we were first looking at them right after. These photos are unkind. They are not pretty. They show every line and wrinkle in my face. And I love them. I love
because it adds to
my
the
wrinkles.
story.
Yes. And I never thought I would say that or feel that. But these photos, and I love what?
I just love that picture.
I know, it's so wonderful. The unzipped dress, falling off the shoulders, the torn, the smeared makeup, the ashes, the falling down drunk, the not being able to keep my balance as I'm laughing.
You are Mrs. Wormer right there.
Yeah.
You know who Mrs. Wormer is. Animal House, Dean Wormer's wife.
Yes.
You are Mrs. Wormer.
I am so, in the next few pictures, I am so many people.
Yeah.
You know, I am Anne Bancroft.
Totally Anne Bancroft.
That is so Anne Bancroft. You know, I'm Betty Davis.
This reminds me of Joan Crawford at a party. I don't know why, but it reminds me of Joan Crawford at a party.
I love the uncoordinatedness of the body language.
I don't know how you did that. You almost look like a spider.
Yeah. It's just like, I am so in love with these. Yeah, we do have to get rid of the TV there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see that in this, so I'm going to cut it right there.
And right there you've got phone cable.
I can take that out.
Yeah, that's an easy Photoshop. But so pleased with these pictures, and just what an awesome day. And we were high as a kite that night. I called the guy that I'm seeing afterwards, and he was like, well, you're going to be very tired. You've shot all day. You're going to be exhausted. And I was just like, of course, we had a couple of cocktails afterwards.
Well, we had to empty the bottles. They were fairly empty, but next time I'll have a party like a few days before we shoot something like that and just hold on to it.
So that was our vintage 60s homage photo shoot.
So much fun.
And I hate that this video just seems like it's just like a bragging about how awesome we are as we pat ourselves on the back. But I want to encourage you to don't put restrictions on yourself. Whatever your art is, or whatever your passion is, and sharing it with a friend, to just, if Amanda hadn't called me and said, hey, you want to shoot? You know, I'm staying at this hotel, you want to shoot? And I hadn't gone, yeah, let's do it, and really taken it seriously and gotten everything ready and committed to it, we wouldn't have had this wonderful experience.
And which will come later, which I'm not going to talk about, but it has propelled me to completely change what I am shooting. I'm going to start a new version of my business because of these photos.
Because you felt stagnant in your business for a while.
For a very long time, for about a year. So I'm very excited because now I have a new direction to go in. So
a new vision. So
just from playing.
get out there and play. Whatever your play is, whether it's shooting pictures, whether you shoot them with a friend, whether you shoot them with a significant other, whether it's going to a flea market, whether it's knitting, whether it's, I don't care what it is.
A painting class with the wine club. Anything. Just do it.
Anything, just do it, and don't put any restrictions on yourself.
And don't let anybody else's restrictions.
Yeah. So that's it.
That's it.
And on that note, cheers.
I'm empty, but cheers.
Well, we'll fill you up again soon. I love you bunches. We will speak again very soon. Drop your comments down below. Have you been inspired to break free and try new things? What new things are you doing? How are you busting out and finding satisfaction by doing something that you've always done, but doing it in a new way and a fresh way and feeling reinvigorated and excited about it? Leave those comments down below. Subscribe to my videos if you haven't already. You can tell that I've had a glass and a half of wine because I'm starting to ramble. And
it's incredibly delicious wine, by the way.
It is really delicious wine.
It is.
It is.
All right.
Love you bunches.